breaks through, we can feel it shine. Hope on the rise, this is our time. Oh, Visions TV, hearts in motion, faith, love, healing, pure devotion. Right here, right now, you'll see what vision can be. With Vision TV, light breaks through, we can feel it shine. Hope on the rise, this is our time. Oh, Visions TV, hearts in motion, faith, love, healing, pure devotion. Right here, right now, you'll see what vision can be. With Vision TV, light.
Right. Welcome, everyone. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. How is everybody doing? I hope you are well. I'm gonna turn my music down. I had some jazz playing. We're gonna get started in just a moment. Bear with me. I'm so grateful. Those of you that are on YouTube and on Facebook, let me know that you can hear me. I'm going to open up the comments. I have some people in the Zoom room. For those of you who registered on Eventbrite, you can definitely log in there on the Zoom room. Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure that everything is up and running here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a great week. Again, we have some people in the chat. We are live here on IG. We have our team members that are assisting us on the other platforms on StreamYard as well as on Zoom. And as I said, for those ladies that are on Zoom or people that are on Zoom, feel free to also log in over or open up your YouTube. You can go to Visions TV, the number 7 on YouTube, and we'll definitely see you there. I'm about to open that up on my other device. If you bear with me just one moment. I'm going to play some music for you guys, and I'm going to be back in just a second. Someone, thank you. Trying to manage multiple devices. And I want to acknowledge those that are on the Zoom in just a moment, but bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. So we're going to get started. Welcome to the Healing Through the Holidays and Goal Reset Workshop. This is December 16th, and I am Yolanda Naylor Kelly. I am your No More Drama Transform Trauma Coach through Visions of Hope Transformational Coaching, and it's truly my honor and pleasure to be with you tonight. We're here together for about 90 minutes. We probably will take a little bit of a break at some point just to kind of give everybody a breather. Again, I have some people on Zoom, so you may see me, my eyes direct to another device while we're on here, but I'd like to welcome Wendy. For those I can see, Wendy, it's good to see you. I'm not on Zoom. I'm talking, but I didn't go on camera. Am I on now? Okay, here I am. Can you hear me now on Zoom? All right, perfect. So I'd like to welcome Wendy on Zoom. I'd like to welcome Vicky my biggest supporter, my mom. I'd also like to welcome Sure, I can't even Shamanda. Like Amanda, put the SH in front of it. Shamanda, welcome, Shamanda. So the people that are in the Zoom, they get a little more intimate attention. So if you want to be a part of the Zoom, you're more than welcome to go over to the Eventbrite link and definitely log in. You'll be able to access everything. Good evening. We also have Marie. She's one of our staff members, our team members over there. We have Michelle, and I don't want to say it wrong, Emilsa. Emilsa, welcome. Cheryl, and then we have Dr. Kimberly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So it's so awesome to be with you tonight. I am super excited to have had the opportunity to plan this event. It's been a long time coming, and I'm just super grateful. I really, really am super grateful. The holidays can be such a challenging time, can be very, very difficult. And one of the things that was important to me was to be able to provide an opportunity for us to just reset for a little bit. While I'm continuing to set these devices up, I just need you to put in the chat whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. How are you faring right now with the holidays? And those that are on Zoom, feel free to shout out on camera. How are you doing with the holidays right now? How's everything? How are you making out? Feel free to share. And I'm not putting anybody in the spot. You can just put it in the chat if you want to. That's also an option. If you're like me, I'm taking one day at a time with the holidays. It is, I first of all cannot believe that we are literally, 16 days away from the new year? I can't believe it. It's baffling to me. It just seems like this year started. Somebody said they're doing good. That's good to hear. Awesome. Somebody else said, I'm okay missing my dad today. Thank you so much for transparency and sharing. I do appreciate that. And we're going to get into some grounding exercises in a short moment. I found myself missing my mom. Thank you so much for your transparency. That's really why we are here tonight, because the holidays bring about different emotions, right? It can be stressful for some. It can be an exciting time for some. For some of us, we can have mixed emotions. And so we wanted to create a space, a safe space, a sacred space for you to be able to just come here and share your experiences. If you wish to, no pressure whatsoever. You can definitely share what you're going through. We have some grounding that we're going to get into, and then I have some slides that I want to share. And I'm just going to share. I'm going to be vulnerable and transparent with you, as anybody that knows me knows that is how I am in terms of my work that I do. And so this is a safe space. This is indeed a safe space. So let's do this. I want to pray, because I always believe in beginning things in prayer. Before I knew it, bear with me one second. I don't know why that always happens. 1 second. Someone just said I'm not on Facebook Live for whatever reason. Me and StreamYard and Facebook Live don't get along, but it's okay. We'll put it up there later. Let me see. One moment. So let's pray. And again, this is a safe space. Those that I can hear that have the intimate experience, if you want to get off at some point off of mute and you want to share, you can feel free to do that. But let us pray. Father, this is the day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you, oh God, for allowing us to be here together. These women who are on YouTube, those that are on IG, those that are on Zoom, thanking you, Lord God, just for this opportunity to be able to share at this time with these women, any men that might be watching. The holidays can really, really be a challenging time for many. And so, God, we just wanted to create a space and carve time out of our day, out of our week, out of our month, out of this hour and a half to just be still and reset and be still and share and just provide a space, a safe space for those who really, really need it, their loved ones who need it, anybody that desired to be here, whether it was here to just support Visions of Hope, support me, or if it was someone that doesn't even know me, who really was invited by someone who felt that they could benefit from it. We thank you. Bless us in this session. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So again, thank you so much, everyone. I just never know why. Thank you. Facebook is not playing, but you know what? I'm learning and have learned, thank you, to just let things flow. I don't know if there's a way, if someone on the team can check to see if there's a way to post the IG link in Facebook. In fact, let me do this. I'm not gonna mess with it. But yeah, we'll get it over to Facebook so those that are interested. And if I get, usually people will text me and say it's not on Facebook, I can't see, and I don't really have the answer as to why, but it's okay. We're gonna keep on. So let us mind. We'll do a little bit of a grounding exercise. Thank you for those of you who have just joined on. Again, if you are just joining, you wish to have a little more of an exclusive experience, please feel free. Yes, I am recording on StreamYard. Thank you so much, and I'm just going to post it over there. Thank you so much, Dr. Kim. I appreciate that. And so those who have just joined on, if you wish to have a little more of an intimate experience, you can definitely log into the Zoom link. If someone can drop the Zoom link in on the YouTube, that would be great. As well as, well, we'll get it to Facebook. So anybody that's watching this in the replay, this information is good for today, tomorrow, next year even, because we came to heal through the holidays and goal reset. So again, welcome to you all. Just for those who don't know me, again, my name is Yolanda Naylor Shea Kelly. I am a certified life and wellness coach, as well as a certified trauma-informed coach and counselor. I am so honored and so privileged to be able to, share this space with you. This isn't new. We were going to, as many of you know, we started to charge for this workshop, but at the last minute, we decided to make it free so that we could get this information out to as many people as possible. Again, it is really, really a struggling, trying time right now in the world, right? Yesterday, we just heard about mass shootings at a Hanukkah celebration. And for those who know Rob Reiner, I grew up on Rob Reiner, him and his wife being killed by his son, and, the mass shooting at Brown College. There's something going on in the world. People are spinning out of control. They are spiraling out of control. The new buzzword is crashing out, right? And so we don't want to crash out. We want to make sure that we take time for ourselves. We take time to breathe, and we just give space to ourselves to be able to, honor where we are The slogan for Visions of Hope is partnering with you, whether you're a client or someone who supports us, in living your best life and creating your best life possible right now, whatever that looks like. And that may look different for everyone, right? So for someone, they may be, as was shared on the Zoom, they may be missing their mom or missing their dad. They may be in a good headspace or a good space. You see, life is lifing. I just got a notification on another entity that I'm a part of that someone's father just passed away. This is a really, 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 really sensitive time for a lot of people. And so I just want you to know that I don't take for granted you're taking your time out of your day, taking time out of your evening to be with us. So I'm going to ask again, if you wouldn't mind to share this information, share it on IG, share it, somehow get it over to Facebook. I'm trying to see how I can figure out how to do that right now, but I'm not going to give my attention to that. Facebook will take care of itself. I just feel like a lot of people were over there commenting about looking forward to being a part, but I did put it in the, flyer that we would also be on IG, so it'll be okay. So let's get into a little bit of a grounding exercise. I want everybody to just take a deep breath, and I'm going to count to 7. So we'll do a count of 7. We'll hold it for 4, and then we'll release for 8. Okay? Ready? Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to do that again. I want you to make sure that your feet are planted on the ground and just feel the energy move through your body. Okay, just feel the energy move through your body. A lot of times when we are stressed out, Dr. K can tell you, she's a therapist. So she could attest to it. And I have some other therapist friends that are actually watching. Your body will trap that stress if you don't release it. Okay. And so again, before we even get into the work for tonight and sharing for tonight, we just want to shake off the day, wash off the day. I'm already feeling loosened up. It was already just trying to get these devices together. It was already, I'm one of those people that when technical stuff happens, I get a little aggravated. The Bible says, be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your request known unto God. And then it further says, peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind. You see how I just took that deep breath? Something fell off of me just then. I encourage you throughout tonight, just take some deep breaths and just let it fall off of you. So we're going to do one more. Inhale, hold it for 4, and we'll exhale. So we're going to do a count of 7 again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just put it in the chat for me if you feel a little bit better. Just drop it in the chat if you feel a little bit better. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm so glad. It's just a little thing that little thing called breathing that you can do to release the stress of the day. And you don't have to be anywhere specific to do that, right? Those of you who have been with me for a while, back 2021, we were doing happiness hours during COVID. And when we would engage in happiness hour, we would definitely do our breath work and breathing exercises. So this week, we're approaching Christmas, right? And maybe some of you are like anxious about maybe seeing family members that you haven't seen before. You might be a little anxious about not having money to get gifts in the way that you used to. I mean, a lot of us um, know, we all know about the government shutdown that happened, and maybe somebody was impacted by that, and they're just trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet. Maybe somebody at this point doesn't even know where their next meal is going to come from. Again, we wanted to hold space for wherever you are in your walk, in your journey. Okay. Everybody's situation looks differently. Somebody might be like, I got all the money I need, and I'm good. And that's great too. And we respect everyone who is here. All situations, all opinions are honored and valued. We want you to know that, again, as we said, this is a safe space. So you are here. You are here for a reason. We want you to know that you are heard, you're loved. We embrace you regardless of what's going on. We want you to know that you do not have to go through anything alone. That is today or even after today. I'm here. Visions of Hope is here to support you in whatever life may present to you. Okay. And so I'm so grateful to be able to share this space with you. We're going to move forward. So as I said, I don't know if anybody saw it in the promos that we were posting today, but for the first 5 people who were able to DM reset to the at Visions of Hope page, we will be giving away a free copy of my book, Good Grief, as well as Confessions from a Broken Place. So you're gonna get 2 copies, 2 books. And it is my pleasure. I'll share a little bit more about Good Grief a little bit later. There's some people on the that know about Good Grief. But that was my second book. Confessions from a Broken Place is a fictional book based on the story of life. And so it is my honor to be able to share that with you. So if you haven't done so already, go on over to at Visions of Hope on IG and drop in that DM reset. So let's get into our centering intention. Making sure. Okay, just making sure we're all good and still live on other devices. Okay, cool. So I want you to just have grace with yourself. Be kind with yourself. That is my tagline when I close any type of podcast or live that I do. Have grace with yourself. We sometimes can be so hard on ourselves. We can be hard on ourselves because we expect ourselves to respond better or differently. And I want to submit to you that your feelings are valid right where you are, right? We don't live from our feelings, but I want to encourage, as I always do, to honor what you're feeling so that you can deal with what you're feeling and then you can heal what you're feeling. Oftentimes what we do is, let's take the holidays, for example. I just finished saying, like, some of us may be going into spaces next week where we're going to be around family members we don't want to be around, right? We're going to be around, maybe friends we don't want to be around. Or maybe you may be spending the holiday alone. And if you are, please let me know, because I don't like for anyone to spend the holiday alone. That is something, my mom's on the line, she could tell you, that is not something that I'm okay with. So anybody within the Bergen County or the tri-state area, please, we don't want you to be alone. No one has to walk out this life alone. I'm big on community. I'm big on making sure that you have people surrounding you that care about you, that love you. That is truly, truly important. So, whatever the state may be next week, we just want you to be true. Like one of the things that I'm very, very clear on, and I'm sure many of you on the line are as well, is self-deception, right? We don't want to deceive ourselves. So this is kind of like what we as human beings tend to do, and especially women. We kind of minimize where we are and how we're feeling at times. We'll take on something in terms of energy, or we'll feel a certain emotion, and then we just kind of like minimize it, and either it will roll off or it will trap in the body. And it's important to make sure that you give yourself a moment and check in with where you are. Because if you don't, you could potentially go into a space where you're around people and then that emotion will come up again, and then you're crashing out, like they say. You know what I mean? So we want to be intentional about how we're feeling as we approach this next week. Be intentional. I saw on the Zoom many people saying that they miss their mom, miss their dad. That is something to be respected. Don't let anybody minimize that. Don't let anybody make you feel like you shouldn't feel that. Good Grief, the book that I have, speaks to that, because we all grieve in a different way, right? This evening tonight is not solely about grief of people passing away, but we can grieve life-changing, right? Life-changing circumstances, situations. Somebody may be sick in their body due to, cancer, or, different challenges in the body that they didn't expect to happen. And you get to grieve what is happening right now that didn't measure up to what you thought it would be. Somebody came into 2025 thinking that their life would play out differently. And now here we are at December 16th. And it's like, oh my goodness, I would have never thought that my life was going to play out in the way that it did. Right. So we're going to make sure that we honor where we are. So I'm going to ask Sister Vermarie if you can share the slide that you have on Zoom. Okay, perfect. I'm going to pull it up here on my platform here so that they can see it on the screen. So again, we're talking about healing through the holidays. And those that are on Zoom, you can see that it says transforming through truth, resilience, realignment, and reclaiming. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Sometimes I get to talking. I get on a roll and I forget that I plan to share my screen. But we want to make sure that you're able to see everything. So let's see. All right. Let's see. Healing through the holidays. Okay, so I hope this screen is going to share. Yeah. And I also have my daughter. She's one of my team members. It just got hot in here all of a sudden because I'm excited, guys. And you see me glistening a little bit. So as this is uploading, Shaki, if you can tell me if you can see this. It's saying processing. Thank you all for waiting patiently. Let me see if I can share this. There it is. Okay. So good. Shaki, please let me know if you can see that on the screen. All right. So this is the first slide. Again, healing through the holidays, transforming through truth, resilience, and alignment, reclaiming you. So we're going to go to the next slide. And again, We did the grounding. We did the welcome. Excuse me. So I want to ask you, um, what are you carrying right now? Because we all carry something, right? Tonight is not really about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering who you are. Okay? It's about remembering who you are. All right? And so this is your time. This is your space. I just happen to provide the platform, but this is all about you individually. You don't have to try to be something for someone else or do something because someone else thought you should do it. I want you to be free to be you in this space. Okay? So, what are you carrying? Give yourself a moment to give thought to that. And if you will, if you want to, you can put it in the chat. What are you carrying? Carrying. Somebody said, yes. Oh, Dr. K, going into the new year, I sometimes feel anxious, yes, thinking about what I didn't accomplish, fearing I'm behind and grieving that things look different than I expected. I'm learning to give myself grace and trust in the process. Thank you so much for your transparency. I really, really do appreciate that. That is a very real experience. If I'm honest, especially like preparing for things like this and knowing I'm going into the new year, I'm the kind of person I have different things going on at the same time, right? And so you can easily get consumed by either analysis paralysis or sometimes you can get caught up with imposter syndrome at times, like, who am I to be doing this? Like, people aren't really, you know what I mean? And again, if we're honest, we can deal with what it is that we're feeling because feelings come and go. We're not supposed to, again, lean into the feelings. We're not supposed to even trust our feelings, but they're there for information, right? So we want to make sure that we honor that. But again, what are you carrying? And you alone are the only one that can answer that question. What are you carrying? Okay. It is important to know that this time of the year, holiday fatigue, holiday pressure, emotional fatigue, identity shifts, like people are starting to like think about, okay, 2026 is coming. I didn't even complete what I needed to complete in 2025. What in the world am I going to do in 2026? Like I'm trying to play catch up. And I want to submit to you that you are right where you're supposed to be right now. Right now. You are right where you're supposed to be right now. Now, I also will present this. If you allowed certain things to stand in the way, and let's just be honest, right? Like procrastination, and you allowed yourself to be distracted by life circumstances because it can happen. That's nothing to beat yourself up over. It is just something to be aware about, so that as we go into 2026, we can reset, right? Goal reset and say, okay, 2026 is coming. I'm going to do something differently this year coming than I did last year. If you're like me, and I know Sister Vermarie, who is working the Zoom presentation, we start our new year in like September, and others of you may be like that as well. We start in September so that we can get a start on like New Year's resolutions and things like that. I've never really been one to engage in those. Some people do, but I want to also submit to you that it's not about having a new year, new me, right? What I'm presenting to you is that we return back to being who we are. Oftentimes we are so busy striving to do things and performance and all of the things. And one of the things that God has been allowing me to share with people on my platform, or whether I'm preaching in church or whatever the case may be, is He created us as human beings, not human doings. Right? So we spend a lot of time trying to do. We spend a lot of time trying to perform and get certain things done and get certain things accomplished, especially if you're a mom or you're a wife, or you own a company, or whatever the case may be. You work for church or you're in leadership in church. Oftentimes we do all of these things and we're doing so much that by the time we finish doing what we're doing, we look up and we're like, okay, I'm depleted. I feel like empty, like you didn't fill up your own tank, right? So it's important to acknowledge, what is it that you're carrying. So I'm going to give a few moments. I meant to tell you all to grab a notebook if you have it. Maybe you can jot it down in your phone, but just jot down what you are carrying. What's been too loud in your life lately? What's been too loud in your life lately? I'm going to give some time for you to just journal that out, or type the notes out, and then we'll come back in about a minute. All right, ladies and gents, just in case you're watching, and thank you for those who are on YouTube. I see you out there. If you have any comments, please, by all means, if you have any questions, please, by all means, drop your questions in the chat, and those who are working behind the scenes will filter the questions to us. So we have someone on Zoom that said, I find myself reflecting more on my life, redirecting my focus on what is truly important: God, family, and relationships. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that information. Excuse me. That is very key. I want to point out what she said about family, God, family, relationships. Right about now, some people are not finding the value in relationships, and a lot of relationships are suffering because of it. And so I want to encourage each and every one of you to hang on in there. Continue to be the example for your families. Continue to be the examples for your loved ones. Okay? Continue to be the example. Again, next week is it could be a really really trying week for some, but by all means go in and be the light in the earth that God is calling for each of us to be. All right? So, let's see. I'm going to make sure we have no more questions. Okay. So again, let's make sure that we're not carrying those weights. If we could just take a deep breath, because some of you may have been journaling behind the scenes, whether you're watching this in real time or in the replay, take a deep breath and then let it go. Take another deep breath, if you will, and then release it. All right. So this is where we're going to get into the meat of our activity. Okay. Again, we're not presenting a trauma circle here. This is a transformation experience. Okay. I'm all about transforming, right? Transforming every single day, asking God to show me myself every single day so that I can be the best me that I can be. Okay. Again, community is important. We want to make sure that we have community affirmations and so on. And we want to definitely lean into who we are, lean into our friends, our loved ones. We want to leave this year feeling lighter. The mindset around this event is you can come just as you are and leave closer to who you are becoming. Again, I said a few moments ago that we spend so much time trying to be, or trying to do rather, and less on being and becoming. And I believe that as we're becoming who we are spiritually, right? We've always existed. Many people have heard me say we are spirit beings having an earthly experience. And so I always want to reiterate that. Always want to reiterate that. Okay, so let us continue on. We're going to go to the next slide. We did this already. See, I just get going. I just go, right? The weight we carry. Some of us may be carrying emotional overwhelm, holiday pressure, identity fatigue. I said that. So let's continue on. We want to realize that we have the power of resilience. The power of resilience. You are stronger than you know. So I want to take this opportunity to share a story with you. For those who may not know, I lost my husband, Kenneth Kelly, in 2016. Excuse me. The reason why I do this particular type of workshop at this time of the year is because his birthday actually falls on December 24th. That was his birthday, Christmas Eve. And so 2 years ago, when I started my YouTube channel, Visions TV, the number 7, I did coping through the holidays. It was called Good Grief, again, based on my book, Coping Through the Holidays. So you heard me mention that I wrote the book, Good Grief. And in writing the book, Good Grief, that book was conceived out of the loss of my husband. So just to briefly share it, because I don't really have time to go into the whole story, because before you know it, it's going to be 9 o'clock. On July 30th, 2016, I was actually down in New Jersey. At the time, I was living in Pennsylvania, and I'd come down on the Friday night before our church service of my former church. We had church on Saturdays, and very active in the church. I did church school. I was of the choir, all of the things, minister, everything. So naturally, I'm going to be present on the Saturday. My husband worked on the weekend, and so he was not going to be down. He was a deacon in the church at the time, but he wasn't able to be present at that time. So earlier in that week, he had not been feeling well. He was a singer, and so I should say that my husband is the guy that sings in the movie Lean on Me. If you see the bathroom scene, for those who know the movie Lean on Me, because I'm learning these days that some of the younger kids don't even know what the movie Lean on Me is, let alone, who my husband is. So he's the guy in the bathroom singing "Very Sigh," and then he sings it again, "Very Sigh, by the side will stand and always praise thy name." That part. Anybody that has ever seen that movie, you see the guy looking up at Morgan Freeman and he's looking all scared and the whole nine. That is my husband, Kenneth Kelly. And unfortunately, we lost him into, well, I don't say lost. I'll be honest with you. I say, he transitioned because we know where he is. He's not lost. But he did pass away 2016 of a heart attack. And that entire day, that Saturday, July 30th, was an entire day process of me not even knowing at that time that he had passed. It turns out that he had passed away 5:30 in the morning. With everything that I was doing during the day, I checked in with him the night before when I got down to Jersey. Again, he hadn't been feeling well, but he said he was feeling better and that he was going to go to work the next day, which would have been that Saturday. I said, "I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow." And that was my last time speaking with him. So that day was, different. I would call them pit stops of when I would have expected to hear from him, and I didn't. So all of the day, I'm thinking, well, he was working, he was off like 3 days. So, he wasn't able to take breaks and so on and so forth. He would have gotten off at 6 o'clock that evening. And like clockwork, he would call me. Like, he was the kind of man that if he said he was going to call you, he called you, no question. So when I didn't hear from him at 6 o'clock, I'm thinking, okay, not sure what's going on. But, I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to, get nervous. 6:15 rolls around, still no call. Again, I'm still down in New Jersey. I'm, spending some time with a friend of mine who just had a baby. And she's also one of my team members, Shanye Moore, and was with her pretty much after church the entire day. 6:30 rolls around and I don't hear from him. So I start to get nervous and I say to her and her business partner, "Go ahead, and I'm going to have to, leave. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go home because I don't really know what's going on. I'm a little nervous, whatever. So I have to make the decision of whether I'm going to go straight home or at the time go to my mom's house to get my clothes, which is where I was staying. I decide I'm going to go straight. Long story short, I take hour, 15-minute drive. Well, honestly, with the way I drive, I got there in an hour. It was raining 9. And I get there and I pull into the parking lot and I see his car in the driveway or in the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, thank God, at least he's home. But my spirit knew, God had acquainted me as I was driving up that he was not okay, And I didn't know exactly, let me say it this way. I didn't know intellectually what that meant. Spiritually, I knew what it meant, but intellectually, I couldn't process the thought of what my spirit man knew. So get there, get to the house. In fact, I was on the phone with my mom at the time, but because of what my spirit man knew, I get off the phone with my mother because I didn't want her, and she's on the line, she could attest to this, she's on the Zoom. I didn't want her to hear me respond in the way that I knew I would probably respond. Like, again, not really knowing what I was going to see, not knowing what his state would be. I just didn't want my mom, being an hour away from me plus, to be alarmed by my reaction and not be able to get to me right away. So get into the house, and there's something I want to talk about before I leave this story. I'm going to share something true. I get to the house and I go to the front door, and you could see we didn't have like a valance over the top of our door, but you could see up through the door, through the window of the door, and it's pitch black upstairs. So I open the door and I see signs of life as of at least the night before. The reason I say that is because the light above our stove was on. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, at least, there was some activity. He had been, moving about, been downstairs, because when I left, that light wasn't on, all of the things. So I call up to him and no response. I'm hearing the ceiling fan going in the ceiling. I'm hearing he loved to have like a regular fan going all year long. And so I'm hearing the regular fan going, and I run upstairs, and he's laying on the bed. He's laying on the bed on his back, and his hand was up in the air. And I pray that, in my sharing this is not triggering to anyone. I'm sharing it because of what my learning experience was and my healing journey was from that. Again, how this book, Good Grief, was written. So he's laying on the bed, like on his back, and his arm is up. And so because his arm was up, I'm thinking that he was alive. I run over to him, clearly seeing that there was some type of, that he wasn't okay. I won't say distress, because he never looked like he was in distress, but seeing that he was not okay. And when I got to him, he was in full rigor mortis. Excuse me for those that might find that graphic, but that's just what it was. And so, naturally I lost it. I called my mother back, and my mom's like, did you call the police? And, you don't know what you're gonna, what your state is going to be in a situation like that. That's why I tell people it is so important that we not judge other people's experiences. You don't know how you'll react in certain situations if you're in that situation. Prior to that, I would have been like, oh, why didn't you call the cops? You know what I mean? In my mind. But in the moment, I'm trying to just figure out my life, because in that moment, I realized my life has just been turned upside down. This is the man that I've only been married to for 3 years, was in a relationship with for 17 years. And now the life as I knew it is no more. And so call my mom. She says, did you call the cops? I get off with her, call the cops. And then, that began the process of living my new normal. My new normal. You would never have been able to tell me that would have been my experience or my life. Again, I started writing. I journal a lot, so I started writing about that experience. And I had an experience with someone who said to me at the time, when they came to sit with us, oh, I'm sure you wish you were up there. Or I know you wish you were up there when he passed. And I was like, no, and I'm sorry. Every time I say that, I kind of laugh because I know me. And thank you so much, Dr. K. I laugh because I know me, and I'm very much the kind of person, I'm very pragmatic. And I'm very much like, God knew exactly what I needed. He knew what to allow me to experience and what not to. And I really, truly believe that God knew that if I was not going to be able to save him, that he would not allow me to go through him dying there while I was far away from my family. So my mom and them, they come up, and my mother and two of my aunts and my uncle, who's also now gone on to be with the Lord, they came and they, supported me. My godmother, who lived close but still was like 20 minutes, you know, she came to sit with me, her and her husband, until my mom got there. Yes, God does know when and how. We listen, we don't know. And God knows us better than we know ourselves. His thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are not our ways. And so I am truly grateful for that. Truly grateful for that. And so out of that experience, I realized that sometimes people can expect you to act in a certain way when you lose a loved one. Sometimes people can expect you to speed up your process of grief, or speed up the process of how you go through what you go through, right? And so I'm here to let you know that your process is your process, but make sure that you are experiencing it in a healthy way. So Good Grief, the book, is basically saying, there's no cookie cutter way to grieve. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we're grieving in a healthy way. And I am going to submit to you that there are people in the world right now that are not really experiencing trauma and different things that are going on in their lives in a healthy way. Post-COVID, people were very much like, and Dr. K, I don't know if you can chime in on this in the chat, or you can even unmute. But there's a lot of people, they're using, like, everything mental health has now become buzzwords, boundaries, and triggers, and trauma. And thank my cousin Jacinta and her dad. I give honor. Her dad was my uncle that came to sit with me, and I honor you, Jacinta. That's my cousin. I love you very much. But it's just so much going on, right? So much going on. And we want to be mindful that we always check in with ourselves about how we feel. And then when we see other people kind of like acting out of their own pain or their own wounds or different things like that, that we're not so quick to judge them, hold space for them, pray for them. Because 9 times out of 10, if we are getting some type of reaction from someone, especially if we've not done anything to them that we're aware of, it most likely may not have anything to do with you. So again, let's have grace with others as well. As we're having grace with ourselves, let's be gracious with someone else. Let's be kind to other people. Let's just, know, especially this holidays, I'm telling you, love, yes, always love you too. And so, we're getting ready to, I don't know what your experiences will be for the holiday, but again, have grace with yourself as you're going into these atmospheres, and have grace with others as you're meeting them. So we can go to the next slide. Okay. So everybody take a deep breath. I need one. Again, we are stronger than we know. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. A lot of times we have setbacks in life, like, I would call that a setback. But it's important to know that even in every setback, it's an opportunity to bounce forward as we bounce back. Okay. So again, I shared my experience of resilience. And so I just want you to know that became my story to share. I never believed that I went through that for myself, or just for me to like experience it. And I don't think that we go through the things that we go through in life just for us to hold on to it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jacinta. And so, I have learned that my experiences, and there are many, if you are blessed to be able to get the first book, you'll see some experiences that I went through with that as well. So bringing it back full circle, you need to check in with yourself and see where you might be hurting a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of unresolved grief there. Everybody that knows me knows I'm an advocate for counseling and therapy. And if you need, if Shakia, if you can put up on the lower thirds, the areas that they can go and they can actually tap in with therapists. We have places like betterhelp.com for those that are on the Zoom. If someone can put that in the chat. Again, that's betterhelp.com, psychologytoday.com, therapyforblackgirls.com. I've gotten therapists through Therapy for Black Girls. And then Headway Co. It's not headway.com, it's headway.co. And so we're going to make sure that you check in with yourself. I'm a huge, I mean, I talk about therapy like I talk about eating food. Anybody that's on here on this line could pretty much tell you, I'm like, well, when I was talking to my therapist, and my therapist said, because I'm one of those people who wants to normalize therapy and remove the stigma from it, because we all could use a little additional support. And sometimes we're dealing with things in our lives and we don't know why we're responding in a certain way, why we feel a certain way. And it's okay. But sometimes we need someone to assist us in explaining, why we're feeling the way that we do. And so, again, thank you so much, Shakir. You can take that off. Again, it's betterhelp.com, psychologytoday.com, therapyforblackgirls.com, and headway.co. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. All right. If you can go back one more for me, Verm. So transformation in real time. That N jumped off by itself, it looks like, right? Transformation in real time. So we're getting ready to wrap up. Again, I just wanted to provide this space for us to come together and just share a little bit. You heard my story, and I would love for you to honor your own story. Don't minimize it. Don't let anyone else minimize it. Be true to yourself. I mentioned triggers before. Triggers are very real, and it's important to pay attention to when you experience triggers. They can come when you least expect it. So for an example, I didn't realize that I had a trigger in this situation or the experience of losing my husband until I moved into, let's see, it would be my second apartment after, he had passed away. And I was walking down the hallway and the light above the stove was on. And it paralyzed me in the moment. It was just like I stood still, and it took me right back to walking in the house and experiencing, finding him and seeing that light before finding him. And it was so interesting that, I had to experience it. I had to allow myself to experience that. One of the things that you'll find in Good Grief is I say all the time, allow yourself to feel. Let the feelings come up, deal with them. Don't ignore them, but deal with them. Honor them. There is a saying that one of my mentors says. He says, I made an agreement with grief that when it shows up, I'm going to acknowledge it and I'm going to deal with it. And I often like to share that because, again, we can grieve so many things. It doesn't just have to be death. Again, it could be loss of identity. It could be the loss of a dog. It could be the loss of a friendship. It could be the loss of a relationship or what we thought a relationship was or what it would be. It could be the loss of who we once were compared to where we are. And that could go in many directions when we talk about that. But the idea is to honor where we are. Transformation in real time. We want to reset our intentions. We want to honor where we are. It's not about ignoring. It's not about suppressing. And a lot of times we tend to do that. We tend to suppress what it is that we feel. We tend to push it away. And I want to submit to you that you don't do that, because it'll come back when you least expect it. You don't want to push it down. You don't want to suppress it, because oftentimes you'll regurgitate that on somebody that didn't deserve it. Or you'll hear people say things like, we're bleeding on people and, they don't deserve it, So we want to make sure that we're healing those areas in us that we may have left unaddressed before. Perfect time of the year to do it, because I'm telling you, if you have some stuff that is unresolved on the inside of you, whether it's with someone or within yourself, the holidays are often the time when those things show up. So make sure that we honor those things. All right. Let's see. I just need to make an adjustment here. We're almost finished. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. I have some announcements that I want to make before we end. Again, let's reset our intention. We don't have to wait for 2026 to do that. We can actually do it right now. What does 2026 look like for you? What does that look like for you? All right. Define what bouncing back and bouncing forward looks like for you. So I want us to take another moment, and I want us to visualize where we see ourselves next year. You can close your eyes and imagine yourself aligned a year from now. Where will you be a year from now? What would you like to see? What's one thing that you are ready to do differently? Ask yourself that question. What is one thing I'm ready to do differently? And again, everyone's answer is going to be personal. If you wish to share it, you can feel free to do that. But let's just take some time and think about what it is that we would like to see. How do you see yourself a year from now? Do you see yourself in a new relationship? Do you see yourself back in school? Do you see yourself on a trip that you've been wanting to take? Do you see yourself on a different job or making more money? Do you see yourself giving back to people or serving in a different way? Give some thought to that while we take a pause. Okay, so we're gonna continue. And so someone in the chat said graduate school. I love that. I love it. Next year, graduate school. We're going to see that. Since I love that. Dr. K said, finding safety in being apologetically me. That's powerful as well. Finding safety in being apologetically me. That is challenging for a lot of us, right? Especially depending upon how we show up. And in this day and time, everyone's so thin-skinned and they're so sensitive and things of that nature. And that's not to discount anyone's emotions, right? But sometimes the way we show up, depending upon who we're around, we feel like we have to dim our light. We feel like we have to minimize, what we're doing. And so we don't want to do that, right? So let us continue, all right? Anyone else want to add anything? By all means, please do. And we're getting ready to wrap up. I was going to share a video from my Metamorphosis conference that I did back in 2021 during COVID. And there were several women that I had that were a part of that conference. That Saturday we did an event, or we had that Saturday, a day where, there were women that were sharing their experiences. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to share one of the stories. This is one of our supporters. If I can open up the screen. You know what? You guys won't see it on Zoom. So you know what? I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to post it. What I will do is I'm going to post some stories of resiliency from our Metamorphosis conference on social media over the next few days leading up to the holidays, just to remind us. And that way the ladies on Zoom won't miss it because I don't have it set up on the Dropbox and you won't be able to see it. But we're getting ready to wrap up. Let's go to the whole person wrap up slide. I want you to know that you deserve the best. You deserve to honor yourself. You deserve everything that you want in life. I said it earlier. You're right where you're supposed to be. You're not behind. You are becoming. You are being. Let me take that back. Let me rewind that back a little bit. We are not behind. We are becoming. We are being. And so let me say this now. I will share this. My cousin Jacinta just said she's going to be in graduate school. And I want to say I will be in graduate school as well. I was not certain if I was going to share this. But as a matter of not being behind, another story, and I'm not going to take the long road to get here, but as of this week, I will be finishing up my BA degree. And I am super excited. I went back to school after 26 years. Thank you so much. After 26 years of being out of school and not matriculating, I returned back to school in the spring of this year. Thank you. In the spring of this year, let's see. Somebody said, oh yes, choosing me for the first time in a very long time. I love that. I love that. I won't put them on the screen unless you wish for me to. But choosing yourself is key. I'm going to go back to that in a second. I would have never thought that finishing school, thank you, Cindy. Let's go, Yolanda, go get it. I went back to school 220. Isn't that funny? Sometimes you got to move in private. Thank you, Jade. I won't call out her nickname. Those are my cousins. Listen, let me say this right here and now. Your family doesn't have to support you, okay? Thank you, Mom. Yep, move in private. Move in private. Move in private. Keep your head down, and then come out and let people know. And I really held that close to the chest. And I want to say this. I didn't really get into boundaries in this session, but that is a boundary, and it's okay if you have a boundary of not sharing what you're doing. It's okay. A lot of times, people feel like, oh, well, they get upset because you didn't let them know and you didn't tell them, but, super excited. That's my cousin. We are a year apart. We played together as kids. And so how it would be like, literally, we did everything together. And now we're finishing school and going to graduate school. So that would be just how God would have it. And I'm so super excited. And I'm here to let you know. You all know that I'm an actor, I'm a singer. And for years, I did a lot of performing. This will be my first time publicly saying this. I've done it on other platforms like it was Zoom or things like that, but publicly on like a Facebook setting. In August of 2025, God just gave me a word, and I'll share it with you briefly about entertainment. And that while there's nothing wrong with entertainment, right, that people are utilizing entertainment to numb themselves. So as we are celebrating the holidays, and you all see me, look at my shirt. Thank you. Congratulations. I went back to school when I was 52. I also achieved my BSN and MSN. Congratulations in 2014. I love that. Congratulations. That's so awesome. So I'll tell you what my degree will be in a minute. But you see me wearing this shirt, right? It says, I'd rather be watching Hallmark Christmas movies. This is my time of the year. I love watching Hallmark Christmas movies. This shirt is very true. I will watch them all until, well, if you have the Hallmark channel, you can start watching them early. You can actually watch them throughout the year. And I'll be watching them until the new year comes in. But God shared with me that many people are numbing themselves with entertainment, whether it's binge watching stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. I think we have to know how to, yeah. I love a Hallmark movie. But we get to know how to balance things. Oh, okay, thank you. Let me go back. Somebody, thank you. See, this is why I need committee. And by the way, guys, I want to congratulate and thank my committee, not committee, my staff, my team, not my staff, my team. All of them could not be on, but I want to thank them because I can't, like, trying to manage these things and all this stuff and see who's where and who's coming to where. Couldn't possibly do it. I want to acknowledge, I'm going to do this right here. Shakia Drake, that's my daughter. Thank you. Marie Pensil, that's my sister. She's manning the Zoom. Jenna Strickland, she's one of my big sisters, God sisters. I'm not sure if she's on. I see people from my church on IG. Oh my gosh. Jennifer Lassane, I see you, Jennifer. She's one of my committee members. Keep saying committee. I'm so churchy. That is so churchy. Committee members. Oh my goodness. One of my team members, Lakana McGriff. Oh, I said McGriff. Well, I've known her since we were kids. She was McGriff, but Lakana Freeman, Trinace Farrar. She's a part of my team. Shanye Moore is a part of my team, and Brittany Cottrell. Those 8 women, and God made it that way that it was 8 women, and I hope I didn't leave anyone out. Ladies, let me know. My daughter said, wait, she's talking to somebody in the IG. She said, you know how those Hallmark movies stress her out. Well, her mother likes them a lot, and I go in for Christmas movies. Now, she's the one that's big on decorating and stuff like that. I just happen to like the Hallmark movies and enjoy the decorations once they're up. But yeah, thank you again to my team. Someone on the chat, I want to go back on IG, said, grieving in a healthy way, it's not taught. Oh, wow. Ooh, I'm glad I saw that. Thank you. That's one of the women from our church, Tangi. Thank you so much for sharing that. Grieving in a healthy way is not taught. And that's why we're here. Okay. So, in a little bit, we're going to conclude, and I'm going to be presenting some opportunities for us to do more of this. If you liked tonight, if anything resonated with you, definitely we want to continue activities like this. And it's not always going to be on platforms like this. God bless you, Pastor Joyce. I see you. Thank you so much for jumping on. I honor you. The cool counselor HQ. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Nancy Bazemore, thank you so much. People don't have to support you, but I'm grateful. Jennifer says, I was told that the amount of grief is a testament to how much we love them. I would agree with that. My Aunt Elaine Merritt says she would always tell people, or always tells people, they deserve your tears. And again, that doesn't have to necessarily mean with regards to death. Even in relationships, if you were in a relationship for a long time with someone, you get to grieve what you had in that relationship or what you hope to have had in that relationship. And so it's okay. And we, as Sandy said, we're not taught how to grieve in a healthy way. We're taught to push it down, and I honestly want to change the way grief looks. I want to normalize us allowing ourselves to feel okay, Brittany, I love it. The cool counselor HQ, that's one of my team members on IG. And I want to normalize dealing with this stuff, because I'm going to tell you, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. And I get an amen in the chat for that. All right. So we're getting ready to draw to a conclusion, but I was finishing the story about entertainment. I didn't forget. So entertainment, he says that entertainment, God said that entertainment was numbing a lot of people. Thank you for all the amen. And I gave that word to my church, and it was confirmed by someone else, one of the deacons in the church, had the same word. In fact, he gave the word first. And I was like, whoa, we had communicated about the word, and those that are from church can chime in the IG. They were there. They can confirm what I'm talking about, right? And I asked for permission to share, and I shared literally November. I'm not sure the exact date. I would have to look in my phone. But in November 2024, God gave me a personal word, and he let me know that he was putting a pause on my aspirations in entertainment. He said to me, you're not going to impact the world by becoming someone else. And I shared that with a couple of people, and they were like, ooh, that sounds like something God would say. Sister Chan said, thank you for this. Just learned I've been numbing for years. And, again, I love you for your transparency, Tange. A lot of us have been numbing for years, right? We've been numbing through entertainment. Some of us numb with food. I'll admit, I'm an emotional eater, right? And some of us numb, let's call it thing with alcohol. Some of us have numbed with sex. Some of us numb with relationships with people. We can be people addicted too. These are things to be mindful of. That's why we get to check in with ourselves. And when we are anxious, or we are nervous, or we are sad, or we're going through something, I encourage you to check in with what you reach for, or who you reach for when those times come. It's important to get to the root of why you feel the way that you do. Because a lot of times when we feel certain things, it may not even be what we're dealing with in the moment. So for an example, if I'm upset because, let's say, I'm going to use Tangie again for an example. If I'm upset because Tangie didn't invite me to her birthday party or something like that, and that didn't happen, I'm just using her as an example. And I'm like upset, like literally, like really, really, really like upset to the point where I'm not going to be around her. I'm not going to talk to her no more. I ain't got time for her. All that. You know how we do, right? Spinning out of control, crashed out. I'm going to tell her, I'm going to give a piece of my mind, and all of that, right? Or you're sad, like really, really sad about it. I don't understand why she didn't invite me. Like, why? I did so much for her, and You know, I encourage you to really be still in that moment, because to have such a heavy reaction about someone not inviting you to a party, again, this is an example, it's very possible that on some level, at some points in your life, and I do a lot of inner child work, um, at some points in your life, you felt left out. When we get angry and we have reactions and we can't kind of put words to why we're reacting the way that we're reacting, or we can't figure out why we keep reacting the same way with different people in different situations, it's important to check in yourself. Introspection is like the best thing that you can do. So a lot of times, again, we're talking about the holidays, we're getting ready to close. We're talking about going into the holidays. If you feel anxious before you even get to the house, and you're going around people that you've been around for years, or even if you haven't been around for years, I encourage you to check in with yourself as to why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because there's something going on there that you may not be aware of. And that's why I thank God for a network of, counselors and different things like that, I'm a coach. I am not a counselor yet. And so the other part of my story is God lined this all up. When he told me that in November 2024, I had just started looking into school, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to just thank you, Pastor Jay. Self-awareness is big, very big. I just started looking into, I'm going to start paying for school one class at a time, and, school will be here. I'll finish, focused on, theater, got very, very close, very, very, very close. Those that know, right? Close to Broadway. February comes around, my manager calls me and says, I'm not renewing your contract, we're cutting back trimming some of the fat on our roster. You've been great. You're going to do well. So on and so forth. And I was like, okay, God, you didn't have to do me like that, but I heard you the first time, right? But guys, January 2025, paid in full, didn't have to pay a dime. Well, not out of my pocket, financially got covered. But the reason why I hadn't gone back prior was because my financial had been so massive, over the years, that they weren't paying no more until it got forgiven, and all my debt, all my loans got forgiven, allowing me to go back to school and finish. And now I'm going to, let me say what my major is. Psychology. I will have my BA degree in psychology, and my plan, and God's plan, I believe this is his will and direction. I will be going to school, and I'll be starting in April. My degree will be or my master's will be in clinical mental health counseling, with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy. Not on my radar at all. And so when we go back to these slides and I say, you are right where you're supposed to be, I mean that. You would never have been able to tell me that that's what I would be going to school for. But because of the work that God has me doing now and what he has taught me to now, he just set that thing up for me. And so I'm grateful. So again, you're not behind. We're not behind. We are becoming. I want you to repeat this with me. I give myself permission to grow at my own pace. Say that. I give myself permission to grow at my own pace. You can unmute if you want to and say it. I give myself permission. Thank you. Thank you so much. I give myself permission to grow at my own pace. I appreciate you for saying that about my testimony, and that's just half of the testimony. You haven't even heard all of it, but God has been so faithful, in the times where I felt like I should have been at a certain point or should have been doing, I have had moments like that. They weren't a lot of times, but there have been times. And I was honest with myself about what I felt in that moment. And then I was able to be still and honor where I was, knowing that I was in the right place at the right time and I needed to pace myself. So We want to stay connected with you in 2026. I can't believe I'm saying 2026. You see the information on the screen. Before we do that, Shaki, let me say this. Can you put the other the ways of giving on the screen? I want to say this. First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank those who heard me say that I was going to be putting this workshop on for free. God led me to do that, and I really, really do my level best to be obedient to God when He tells me to do something or say something, or not say something, whatever. Those who know me know that that's true. And Sunday riding to church, I just heard Him say, put the workshop on for free. And people had already registered and everything. And I was just like, God, was that you? You know, and we got to be obedient. And we got to be obedient, right? When God says to do something. And just bear with me if you'll give me a little more grace for a few more moments. And I'm going to let you go. And I did. And so there were people that were like, well, can we give donations? And so the Eventbrite is still available, not only just for you to log in so you can access the link or get perks and things of that nature. Those of you who have been on, if you were on the Zoom, I should have your information through Eventbrite. Make sure that I have your email information. Within the next 48 hours, you will all get a digital journal. It's called Healing Starts With You. And there are some goodies in there, just for you to begin 2026 with. All right. Again, I didn't have anyone pay for this workshop. However, if you do wish to give or give a donation, the ways of giving are on the screen. No pressure whatsoever, because God always provides. And I want to point out that this workshop was a little different than my other podcast in that this workshop is a catalyst to the assignment that God has me on. At one point, I won't say my focus was split. I felt like acting fed me, and I was great at that, and singing and all of the things. And let me point this out. I still will be doing my one woman show. Remember, God said I was not going to impact the world by becoming someone else. So stay tuned for information about my one woman show. We'll be doing it again in February. But I wanted to make sure that we gave this platform or this for you. And some people may not have been able to pay for it because of the holidays and stuff, and that's a deal breaker for me. Like, I'm always wanting to give back to people and as best as I can. Thank you all so much for your comments in the chat as well on IG. Thank you, Pastor Joyce. If you wish to give a donation, fine. You can give it today. You can give it whenever. That information is not going to change. But above all, I do wish. Yes, I will. So let me say this out loud. And you're speaking about the ways of giving. Venmo, if you have Venmo, a lot of people don't. It's at Nayla Shea. That's at NELASHEE. If someone could put that in the chat, if you can put that in the chat for Zoom, that would be helpful. And that's again at NELASHEE. Cash App is $Nayla Shea. $Nayla Shea is Cash App. Or better yet, Mom, can you put it in for me? If you're able to, please put my mom to work, y'all. So Venmo is at Nayla Shea, at NELASHEE. Cash App is $Nayla Shea. That's NELASHEE. And then Zelle is naylashay@gmail.com. Again, NELASHEE @gmail. So let me put it in here. So let's putting it in. All right, so let me continue. I want to stay connected with you all um, going into 2026. In 2026, we are going to have a 6-week containment or container. Thank you, Mom. Containment series. It's a group session, and it's going to allow us an opportunity to grow. It's going to allow us an opportunity to glow and go deeper than we were able to go tonight. Again, if something resonated with you, I would love for you to let us know. If you are interested in being a part of this, we will provide you with the payment information, not the payment information, the cost of it and everything. But it is the being and becoming room. The being and becoming room. Again, God created us as human beings, and we are becoming who we are. That's how I refer to it as. Working on a project now, and it really goes back to talking about how we were created in God's image in the first place. We're spirit beings having an earthly experience. Visions of Hope Transformational Coaching sits at the intersection of faith, mental and emotional health and well-being, and physical well-being. So we are going to be having some offerings coming up in the year to come. And again, that's what this workshop was a catalyst for. For the events that we're going to be having in 2026, we're going to be having a retreat in July. Stay tuned for that. Love for you to be a part of that. We want to get that information to you. The goal is to have that in the second week in July. And the Metamorphosis Conference is coming back. Metamorphosis Conference 2.0. For those who were a part of the first one, it was virtual, but this one is going to be in person. It's something about being in person. Nothing wrong with being online. We don't mind being online. But it's something also about being in person. Okay, no problem. I appreciate that. And so the Metamorphosis Conference, as of right now, will be scheduled for September. I have one entity, and I'm going to shout them out now because Pastor Tion Williams is a great supporter of me. I'm part of Girls Going After God, which is her ministry. And we have our anniversary at the top of October. And then there's other things that I'm involved in October. So we're going to do it in September. The first time we did it was October 7th, but we're going to do it in September. It'll be back to school time, and then it's time for us to kind of recalibrate and get set for the fall and autumn and all of those things. So stay tuned for that. So again, coming up in January, we will have, more than likely it'll be the end of January, we are going to have the being and becoming room. I'm more than likely saying January because I want to do something in February for the women for Valentine's Day. My sister firm some years ago had an event called Valentine's Day. And there's a lot of people that don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Now, if you're like me, I think you should give love 365 days a year. Not just women. Don't, I ain't in a relationship or anything like that right now, but don't just shower me with gifts and all of the binaries and stuff on Valentine's Day, and then 364 days a year, you want to act like, you don't know me. Oh, Lord. So for that reason, I just believe that we should celebrate all year round. However, I honor the fact that some people do celebrate Valentine's Day and may not have a Valentine. So I call it Love Day, Sweetest Day, all of the things. And we want to have an event called Valentine's Day, where the girls come together, whether it's virtual or in person. Because of the demographic that we have here, virtual might be the way. We might get together and have a little pajama party, bring our food, our favorite beverage, and so on and so forth, and just come together and share and have fun. That is one of the things that I do. I'm very big on self-care. So that is one of the things that we will be doing for self-care. You can look for us to have some, I call them field trips, adult field trips, and not adult in the sense that it would be any adult material or anything like that. I mean, leave the children at home. We're going to have an event called Burying the Hatchet, because a lot of people are walking around with anger. And there's a facility out here in New Jersey where you can go axe throwing. We're going to do some escape rooms and things of that nature. So stay tuned. Again, this workshop was solely the catalyst to where Visions of Hope Transformational Coaching is going, in direction of serving people and making sure that we check in with ourselves, we take care of ourselves, because sometimes you just don't know, and sometimes you just need an outlet, sometimes you just need to fellowship, sometimes you just need to talk, sometimes you just need to cry. I'm here for all of it. I'm here to support you in that. And so again, I would love for you to join us for the Being and Becoming room. Again, it will not be free, but we will provide you with the information. Again, make sure that we have all of your information, and please follow us. Follow us on at Visions of Hope. That is the IG page. You see it on this screen. I will put it in the chat ladies before you leave. Excuse me. Also on IG at only one Nayla Shay. That's only one. That's the actual number one, Nayla Shay. And then YouTube, our YouTube channel. Please go there, like, subscribe, and follow, share at Visions TV number 7. Visions TV number 7. And then our website is www.bohc.life. I just want you to know that this is something that is not new to me. I've been a coaching counselor for several years, gosh, really more over a decade. And it is important for me that people have support. Everyone is not able to pay for therapy. It can be expensive. I'm not a therapist, but I can certainly. Oh, sorry, I muted myself. So everyone, I was just saying, I'm a big advocate for support. And so, sometimes people cannot afford therapy. Some people may not want to do therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that therapy should be something that we engage in like we do routine healthcare. But that's another topic for another day. I'm not going to get on that bandwagon. But again, we do have, people that are living in the New York area. We have access to therapists in the New York area. We also have, thank you so much, Sister Wendy. I love you so much. I'm going to hit you up on the side, okay? Also, we want to make sure that people that are in New Jersey have access. I even have friends that live in Texas and in Florida. So wherever you are, if you're watching this in real time or watching it in replay, we have resources available for you. Again, you can go to psychologytoday.com. You can go to betterhelp.com. At the bottom of the screen here on the live. You can go to Therapy for Black Girls and Headway.co. And there are resources. BetterHelp, I believe, is a resource where you can go and they will base it on your income. Okay. There are Christian therapists on there as well for those who aren't Christian therapists. And for those who don't, they do have registered therapists, licensed social workers, you name it. All I'm saying is resources are available to all of us. So make sure that you get the support that you need. We're here to support you. We also offer one-on-one coaching sessions as well. And so please, I may have a little surprise for you, but make sure we have your information, your email, and I would love to just do some one-on-ones with some of you, even if it's not for any longer than 30 minutes. I always try to do a free consultation or free discovery session, and I would love to do so with each of you if you are interested. So I think I've said everything that we are going to say tonight. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Again, those of you that are on the Zoom, I will drop all of that information. Thank you. My mother, thank you. Can you put the IG up there as well, Mom? Again, IG is at Visions of Hope. Let me fix that because on the screen it says Vision and it's at Visions of Hope Make sure that people are getting that right on the screen. That's my mistake. And at Nay Lachey on IG. Where are you? Vision. All right. So let's stay connected. Share this information with someone. And by all means, know that you are not alone as you go into this holiday. Next week, some people are celebrating Hanukkah. Please, and I meant to do a moment of silence, but let's keep in prayer. Again, those who experienced loss due to the massacre yesterday, and also let's, in the prayer, keep the people in Brown University in prayer, keep the people in the Rob Reiner. There's so many others. People are sick in the hospital. There's so many others. Let's just be mindful. And we have so much time left before 2026. Still so much time left for 2026. And that is around the corner. And so be mindful, have grace with yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that you are good enough, just as you are. God loves you, and so do I. And I look forward to speaking with you all again very, very soon. Peace and blessings. Bye. Everybody have a good night.
Light breaks through, we can feel it shine.